All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS live stream. Have you guys covered here with this 4-game slate on Saturday? I'll let you kind of break down your initial thoughts here for the slate.
Yeah, overall, small slate, so we kind of got to get different with some weird plays. But I think the last game's probably my favorite, or at least the Miami side. Hard not to build with at least a few Miami pieces, but overall, I think it's a pretty solid slate. A lot of close spreads, which is somewhat surprising.
Yeah, and decent game totals as well. I mean, the first game's going to be a little bit lower scoring, but overall, still not too bad. So that's nice as well. No games under like 220.
Yep.
We can get started. Sorry, with that first game, which is going to be Cleveland versus Orlando. And the interesting part here is that DeAndre Hunter is currently questionable here. I do think if he sits, that could actually lead to a little bit of value for Cleveland because Garland's still out, Merle's still out, and Strus is still out. And so like Jalen Tyson, who's probably too priced up now, he would be someone that does benefit, but I don't know. Is he too priced up enough now to the point where we can't really consider him?
I think on FanDuel, he looks pretty good. DraftKings, he's kind of more like a GPP play, even if Hunter's out. Um, Probably prefer him on FanDuel, but I'm fine getting to him a little bit on DraftKings. Small forward's not a great position, so I don't mind going there.
Mm. And then to me, like for value, and I'm glad the data is also saying it, ownership not really there. I actually don't mind Dean Wade if Hunter's out, which again kind of sounds crazy to say, but we haven't projected for 26 minutes. I think there's a good chance that on this 4-game slate, he is in, or maybe not in the winning lineup, but he does present you with a good lineup that will cash, if that makes sense. Like he allows you to pay up for some of the studs. And so I like him. Is that crazy, or should the ownership be higher on him?
No, I think it's fine. Normally I'm against it, but on this slate, not a lot of like screaming good value plays. If Hunter's out, the minutes are going to be there for him. They need his defense out there, and he's not bad, so I don't mind mixing him in. I also think Naquan Tomlin becomes a little more
Mhm.
interesting if Hunter is out. He's
Yeah.
fine even now, but prefer him if Hunter's out.
Yeah, and then would Larry Nance be at all in play at like the min price on DraftKings? Probably not for FanDuel, but if Hunter were out, would he benefit at all? Like, just worth calling out. He's projected for 13 minutes. He has been a point per minute producer in the past, and he is min price.
I don't think so, but like if you wanted to sprinkle him in like a few percent, I don't think that would be wrong.
Okay. And then do you want to pay up for any of the studs here, like Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, or Donovan Mitchell at all?
To me, they all kind of seem fine. I like other games more, and plus Luca, which we'll get there. But I think Donovan without Garland is always appealing. At his ownership right now, I think he looks pretty good on DraftKings. You got to pay a premium for him, so
Yeah.
he's more of a GPP play. Same with Mobley. His price is coming up, but the
Yeah.
production has been there for Mobley. The ownership's there on FanDuel. I think it's fine. Don't mind getting to Mobley. If I'm picking between the studs, it's probably Mobley for me.
All right, fair enough. We'll jump on into Orlando then. I will say I don't necessarily like the idea of getting to Orlando, and it kind of seems like the field is doing that as well. I know our cover boy is Bankero though, but for me, just with them, like everyone being healthy now, Suggs is back. I know Franz Wagner's still out, but with them getting healthier and everyone kind of spreading out the minutes, to me, Bankero is like a tougher click. I don't know. Are you getting to him at that ownership?
No, I'm not there. Just kind of tough, like you said. They're getting Suggs back, which hurts him even more. So overall, I don't mind getting to a little bit, but I'm not going to be around the field.
Yeah, and you mentioned him, Suggs. I know he's not really in play on DraftKings 6.9, but I will say 5.5 on FanDuel. I'm a little surprised that he's only 18% owned on a 4-game slate. Just, I know he only in projected for 24 minutes. I know he's not necessarily the best FanDuel value, but I do think there's a bigger ceiling than what his price tag is showing. I don't know. Is that maybe too far fetched for him with him only getting 24 minutes?
No, I think that's good, especially for FanDuel, someone that can rack up stocks in a hurry. Going against a team that's not really playing a point guard. So I do think Suggs is pretty interesting.
Oh. Um, and then just worth calling out, didn't Penda just have like a really good game last game or 2 nights ago? I don't know. Am I remembering that correctly? I don't know.
Yeah, he hadn't done a whole lot until blowout,
Yeah.
but there is a route where he could get there. So I don't mind kind of mixing him in either.
Yeah. Interesting. I would have guessed he would have played. He played 19 minutes. That's interesting. Um, maybe something to pay attention to. Like, I don't know, with this team.
Yeah.
It's like Anthony Black obviously had that good streak there for a while. Like we can't play Anthony Black, right? Because like projected for 35 minutes, that is very appealing. But with Sog's bag, I don't know, is he just not in play? Because I'm like, if he does play 35 minutes, to me, he's somewhat appealing.
Yeah, I think if the minutes are there, he's someone we could take shots at. Kind of the same thing. Just Suggs is coming back. Kind of want to see it a little bit, but I'm still fine taking shots since the field isn't.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We'll go ahead and jump on into what I kind of think is an appealing game, which is going to be Boston versus Chicago. Close game, 3.5 point spread, 232.5 game total. Jaylen Brown's active. Kata is also active. So they have everyone basically good to go that you would want to be good to go. And the field is somewhat getting here, albeit for a 4-game slate, not too much, I guess, but 14% for Kata. Derek White coming in after sitting the previous night. He's about 13%. Jaylen Brown, 12% and 17%. And then Peyton Pritchard, also not terrible there as well. And then a little bit of love for Garza at 10%. I will say he does feel a little bit too cheap. My idea with Boston is just get some of the pieces here. Like, we don't necessarily have to go crazy with it, but it is a good matchup against Chicago. And so I don't mind the idea of being overweight on some of the plays. But overall, to me, it's always tough to gauge which player specifically we should be on. Where are you at here with Boston?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I think all three of Brown, White, and Pritchard are in play. Prefer White and Brown, and then probably lean on White just because he is the one that is rested. Brown just played a ton of minutes yesterday, but it's Jaylen Brown, and it's basically his team right now. So I'm still fine going there. We don't have a
Mhm.
ton of pay ups. So yeah, I think them three all look good. I do like the center situation with Kata or Garza. I think both of them are firmly in play. Bulls against, or not Bulls, centers against the
Yeah.
Bulls has kind of been a thing this season. So
Mhm.
pretty good getting to either of them. And then Hauser is someone I'll at least mention. His minutes have been pretty solid, which knowing Missoula, they could come down today. It wouldn't
Mhm.
surprise me, but he's been pretty consistent. I think on DraftKings, it's kind of hard to pay 5,200 for Hauser, but FanDuel, I think
Mhm.
he's fairly appealing there.
Yeah. Um, First, I got to give a shout out to Power One here with a funny comment earlier, but also we got a decent comment here about the Celtics might not. He said they'd be on fumes after last night, which I don't mind that kind of thought process there. Could we actually see a route where maybe we see a little bit of reduction in minutes for some of the starters, and maybe someone like, I don't know, Garza gets a slight bit more run? Maybe that. Um, Hugo Gonzalez, maybe Schreierman, who had a good game last night. Could any of those guys get more minutes than what we're projecting them for? It would be random, but maybe you're on them at about 2% when the field isn't on them at all.
I think so. I think it could happen, especially Garza is the one I could kind of see the most.
Okay.
Uh, Kata came in with that illness tag yesterday, which is never good. And then it's possible maybe they kind of lean on Garza a little more today. So I do like going over the field on Garza. And then like the secondary pieces, it's just hard to gauge who would really benefit.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Walsh, if you told me he was going to play 25 minutes, he might be appealing, but he hasn't really done it in a while.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. We'll jump on into Chicago here. So they're getting healthier. Trey Jones, however, is out, and Zach Collins is still out. And so maybe Kobe White's a little bit more in play. Josh Giddey is projected for 27 minutes, and that's kind of a starting point to me, actually. First and foremost, is that a correct projection? And then two, can he still go off? Because he did have a pretty good game in his last game. And so I don't know. Are you getting to Josh Giddey at all?
Not really. It's just hard with the minutes and then the
Mhm.
price, but I don't know. He's pretty close to playable for me. I might make sure I get a, few percent since I do kind of like this game. So
Mhm.
don't mind getting there. And then our minutes I think are pretty close.
Yeah.
If I was, I would probably go 26, but I think
Okay.
27 is a little aggressive, but it's definitely possible.
Yeah, he's someone where I don't want to chase it, but I wouldn't mind the idea of being a game or two early on his minutes going up. But at the same time, yeah, that's very risky. The whole point is with it being a 4-game slate, I guess I don't mind taking the risk at being 10 to 8% on him rather than 3%. But I also definitely not foolproof. And as you mentioned a few times now, we're probably trying to get to Luca, and then we also have some pretty good plays later on. So I get it. Any love for any of the other plays here for Chicago? To me, with with Patrick Williams being out, Jalen Smith is not really as good of a click. But where are you at with the rest of the Bulls?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. They run a pretty deep rotation, so it's hard to get real excited about anybody. But Jalen Smith, like you said, probably the closest I would be to clicking somebody here. And then Kobe White and Vooch are both in play. I don't mind either of them. Vooch's prices came down, and then Kobe White, we've seen his minutes kind of held pretty steady. Even with Giddy back, assuming Giddy's limited, that helps Kobe White. So I do think he's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. We'll go ahead and jump on into the fun game, I would say. Lakers versus Dallas. So I don't remember. Is this Luka's first game back, or has he played in Dallas since the trade?
It's his first game back, I believe.
Is it? Well, okay. So we had that, and then we had the weird. I don't know if you caught the weird Kim Kardashian stuff that's going on with him. So just weird stuff going on with Luka this week. I don't know. But with that, is he just someone that we're going out of our way to target tonight? We'll start with the Lakers.
Yeah, probably. I know on FanDuel I was getting a ton. DraftKings kind of a little bit less than FanDuel. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, I think he's just someone that we want to play. Not really just because of the narrative. I think either way, he's your
Yeah.
highest raw points on this slate, and on a 4 game slate, you kind of just need the raw projection.
Yeah, and then you tack on the narrative as well, and then it
Yeah,
becomes more appealing. So, yeah, I'm kind of right now. I'm actually literally right with the field right now at 36, which is something that I would say probably the data will just naturally do that. So, if you want to be overweight on him, that's someone you definitely need to force in there. I would say probably, but I do think that could be worthwhile. But if we are jamming in Luca into our builds, doesn't that make the rest of the Lakers plays more difficult, or could you see getting to LeBron or Aiden or any of the backups at all?
yeah. I think LeBron's price is pretty reasonable, kind of priced down now. That 9K I think is pretty fair. And then power forward's fairly weak today. And then small forward on FanDuel is nice. So I do think LeBron looks pretty good. And then if you're not playing Luca, he's kind of your direct leverage. So I do think he's pretty good, even though he's getting a little ownership.
Mhm.
As for the secondary plays, it's kind of tough to really be excited about anybody. Like Marcus Smart, the minutes have been there, the production really hasn't, besides
Mhm.
defensively. And then DeAndre Ayton's minutes are just kind of everywhere. But
Yeah.
at his price, I don't mind taking some shots. He's lowish owned.
And given the matchup with Dallas, where we don't really Gafford, I guess, is listed as probable now. Dwight Powell could start still. We'll see. But Dallas, getting healthier, but still banged up. Obviously, Davis still out. Kyrie obviously still out. But with them kind of getting more healthy, like PJ Washington's going to go. Gafford, is going to start. Are they tougher clicks right now? Because I'm seeing Max Christie be chalk, and I don't know if that has to do to revenge game stuff for him at all, but that'd be weird. I kind of just don't want to get too many of the Dallas plays. What about you here?
Yeah, I think they're pretty tough to get to. The only good thing is they're going against the Lakers, and it's a pretty
Yeah.
close spread. Christie's minutes have been there, but he is scoring dependent, so I don't think he's like a safe play at all. Um, Other than that, like Najee, I think's okay, but he's going to be guarding Luca all day, so not really going to be focused on offense.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag, I think if his minutes come up, I know he's been on like a 30 cap, but I do think he's pretty interesting at his ownership, 7,900. Like everyone's playing Luca. Why
Mhm.
not run it back with like Cooper Flag? I think that could be a pretty good GPP play.
Yeah. Yeah, I should rephrase kind of my thoughts. I think they're all fine Dallas plays, but I don't I'm fine chasing the upside that Christie, Marshall can present at their price tags. I just looking at their ownerships, that kind of shocked me. What about Brandon Williams as well? What's going on with the ownership there? 31% on DraftKings, only projected for 21 minutes. I don't think he's foolproof to hit value, even at 4.6, which is a poor price.
Yeah, I agree there. I think people are just kind of chasing value basically because there's not a lot of cheap value plays.
Mhm.
I don't mind him, but like you said, I do think he's overowned, and I think some Heat plays are probably better than him.
And even potentially Utah plays. So we'll jump into that game here. So we'll start with the Heat since you just mentioned them. So we do know that Tyler Hero is going to be out in this game. Davion Mitchell is out. Rozier obviously still out. And then Ware is out as well. And so we are going to get a lot of chalk here, but I'm kind of okay getting to a lot of chalk here. We are seeing that this game is going to be a very high scoring game and only a 6.5 point spread in favor of Miami. So I do think it's safe to say a lot of the Miami plays are pretty solid plays on the slate. Where are you getting to first? Like, who are your first couple of clicks here for Miami?
Yeah, on the Miami side, my first is probably Bam. Just nowhere. I think his minute ceiling is pretty massive, especially with Jovic not really playing well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think Bam looks really good. He is center only on DraftKings, which is kind of difficult, but the field's still getting there. I think he's a good play, so I think he's good. After that, it's probably Norm Powell. I just think his game kind of sets up really well against Utah. I mean, they give it up everywhere, but uh, he should have a lot of wide open threes, which is pretty good for him. So pretty
Mm-hmm.
into, I would say Bam and then Norm are probably my two favorite.
Yeah, I'm right there with you actually with both of those two. So no disagreements there with me. If this game is a 6.5 point spread where it's a high scoring game, those two players should be the biggest factors as to why. So I'm right there with you. After that, though, it does feel like a toss up. Like I could easily get if you told me Hawkes went for 40 fantasy points, I'd believe you. If you told me Larson went for 30, I'd believe you. If you told me Fontecchio went for 30, I'd believe you. If you told me Andrew Wiggins went for 40, I don't know. I might not believe you, but he should be a safe play on the slate as well. I like after those two, Bam and Powell. Like how many players after that would be too many? Two? Could we get to three Miami plays? Because it is this weird 4 game slate where a lot of the best plays are in this last game.
Yeah, it's really tough. Right now, I'm at four, and I think that's where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like four max, especially if I'm playing Bam and Norm, since they're kind of on the more expensive side.
True.
I think that makes sense. But I kind of agree with you. Like you could see all these guys getting there. Like, and you even have like Drew Smith and
Yeah.
then Casper's that's been starting to. Like either one of them could get there. Fontecchio, they've been liking him off the bench a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
he could definitely get there, especially in this game environment. So it's pretty tough to decipher between them all. I think I'm just going to kind of mix them around.
I will say my three most owned right now are Smith, Fontecchio, and Bam, which I probably want to get more Powell just looking at that, but that kind of tells you the roster construction I'm getting to. Lots of kind of studs and duds there.
Yep.
Um, if I had to put you on the spot, raw fantasy points wise, I know OF Index would tell us it's Wiggins, but after Bam and Powell, who would you say is going to be the next highest scorer?
Probably, man. I'll go with Jaime Jaquez, actually.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I'm kind
it's him or
of there
Wiggins.
too. Yeah, I know. And they're both power forward eligible, so
Yeah.
I do think that is kind of the I don't know, could that not be the correct answer? Like both of them could be the wrong answer, and then it just is Fontecchio, Smith, and maybe even Jovic.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely could. And Larson, too.
Mhm.
Uh, like, Larson's been really good. They like him. Like, he's just a steady 30 minutes. Maybe even sees more with them shorthanded, but he's pretty
Yeah.
safe for probably 29, 30 minutes.
Okay. I think my approach after discussing this is probably maybe not even try to set a rule to get to Bam and or Powell. I might just say for Miami Heat players, try to get to Luca and maybe Ben Caro since the data, decently liked him like that. I think that's going to be my approach for tonight. But that being said, we do have Utah here. Utah is interesting because we don't know what to do with Yusuf Nurk right now because he went from being doubtful to now he's questionable. And that could be a result of Laurie Markkinen going from questionable to out. Kevin Love is out as well. And so the first question is, what is the potential that waiting on Yusuf Nurk and confirmation of that news is worthwhile? Or is it too risky?
Yeah, it's tough. I kind of just lean he plays,
Okay.
but I don't know. He definitely couldn't, and then you're just kind of scrambling. So you kind of have to plan a little bit, I guess. But if he does play, I do think he's a really good play.
Yeah, well, it's weird because I'd be perfectly happy to run a Bam and Yusuf Nurk line about together, and they're at the same price tag, and there's really not a pivot off of Nurk. They're like George is priced up a little bit too much. Wiggins is priced a little bit too cheap. Powell, like maybe it'd be Powell, but
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird there. But yeah, after that, obviously we do have George. That's appealing. Ace Bailey probably a little bit too cheap. Sensible probably a little bit too cheap. And then we are getting some plays that I would say ownership wise, given the spot, is probably too low. Kind of what are your thoughts here with the Jazz?
Yeah, I think they're pretty appealing. This game's actually projected to be fairly close, and I think the highest total. So
Mhm.
they look really appealing. Like we said, Nurkic, Keontae both look good. Ace Bailey's probably my third favorite. Just been playing well. The minutes are pretty steady, which you can't say about everyone here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then Sense off the bench, I'm pretty interested there. They're going to need his scoring if this game's actually going to be close. So I do think Sensabaugh is appealing. After that, you have Walter Clayton off the bench. We had that weird back to back where he was just kind of limited in the second game, which isn't too surprising. But in normal games, they've played him. So I'm pretty interested in getting over the field on Walter Clayton. Collier's price is up. I think on FanDuel he's okay. DraftKings it's a little harder to get there, but yeah, I think there's a lot of pretty good GPP plays.
Yeah, what I hate about the Jazz tonight is I was kind of looking at the per 36 production with like Marketing and Love off the court. I didn't look at it with also Yusuf Nurk off the court, but just looking at it like that, it was just like Keontae George like benefits, and then Isaiah Collier actually benefited a little bit, but we don't have him projected for that many minutes. And then like everyone else, it's just like it's too random. Like we are seeing Ace Bailey get more run recently. He's playing well recently. We like that. Sensible just had a massive game, so I don't mind chasing that. I want to like be in on someone like way over the field, and to me, it probably is Collier, but I don't feel comfortable about that. And even on FanDuel, is pretty chalk as he should be. It's just like I feel like my mind is telling me just be overweight on Utah here, and it'll work itself out. And that's just not the best analysis to give necessarily.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. Because we do like this game, and I think, say Nurk gets ruled out, then you're kind of ahead of the field, and you have salary to kind of mess around with. So I do think it's
Mhm.
smart to just try and get as much Utah as you can, or just be over the field on them, because they're good plays now, but they could be even better.
Yeah, if Nurk sits, do you think like what would the line change that much? Would it be like get to double digits, or would it only be like 8.5, 7? Would it change all that much?
I would probably lean like 8.5. Like the Q tag's probably factored in a little
Mhm.
bit already, so probably like 8.5. I think
Yeah. We
Filipowski's
will.
pretty bad, so I don't know. Defensively, he's okay.
Yeah.
Offense,
It's I wish he was cheaper because and I wish we had him for more minutes, but like he's someone that literally could get 33 minutes here. Like that wouldn't be the most shocking thing. I think that we should trust the minutes, but like he's someone
yeah,
that if you maybe I'm happy he's priced up because if he was a little bit cheaper, I'd probably talk myself into it.
yeah, and he has power forward eligibility, which is
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Yeah, exactly. But here, let's try to give a build. And I don't know, were your thoughts that like if Nurk, like, is he a crucial play on this site? Like, if he plays, do you think he will be in the winning lineup?
He definitely could be. Like center's not amazing. Like we have
Mhm.
Bam and we like Kata, but after that, there's really not a whole lot of other high ceiling options. So I do think he
Yeah.
could separate.
Yeah, I'm there with it. So we'll put Bam and Luca in the build for now, and then I feel like we like. Do we go Powell or do we try to go with another Miami value?
Yeah, we could go Powell.
Okay, we'll do Powell then. Um, is it probably shooting guard? Right. We have a little bit more forward action tonight.
Yeah,
Okay. So after that, I do feel like it is kind of up to the really what people want to do if they want to do more of a studs and duds approach. But I do think we should probably be getting to another play in the Utah Miami game. Would you want to get to Bailey, Sensible, Jaquez, Fontecchio,
yeah,
Larson?
we could go Bailey. I like Bailey quite a bit.
Okay. Would you want to go with any of those other plays? Because I mean, they are somewhat appealing.
Yeah, I like pretty much all of those.
Let's go with Fontecchio now, just because he's the cheapest, and if we have salary left over, we'll I think gladly pay up.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, do we get to? Oh, we can't even get to George here. I was going to say, do we get to Keontae George? But we can't with this, which is fine. So we have 4.7 left over, which I kind of okay with that. But was there a stud that you want to pay up for other than Luca and Bam and Powell?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. So I'm going to use the handy dandy slider here real quick just to see. Do about 5.3, 5.5, just to see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, our guy Dean Wade. I shouldn't say it. My guy Dean Wade, I guess. I talked him up more.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
have
fine?
like yeah, I'm good with Wade.
Okay.
Then we have like Drew Smith, Larson, like all those
Yeah.
plays. I think are all pretty good.
I really don't mind the idea of game stacking that game, especially with the value that we're getting.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we have 5.3 left over. The question is like, would we want to go with the value in Drew Smith and then pay up a little bit more, or do we just go fair and balance, which would leave us with like Sensenball and I don't know Larson or something? I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I also don't mind the Drew Smith, and then just kind of see what we get after that.
Yeah, we'll try that. Just lots of room to upgrade. Then with this build with Fontecchio or Drew Smith, 7.3. Bane. No, I
No.
don't really like that. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Huh. Well, I'm going to try this real quick just to see. We'll go Jaquez since we both kind of said we liked him more than Wiggins in comparison. And then we have 5.2 left over. I think that's a little bit better, but not as much
Yeah,
correlation because we'd be ending up on Larson or Hauser, but
yeah, I like it.
yeah, that's fine. So we did get some questions here. So let's go back and ask them. So what is Miami starting five? Is Jaquez starting? I don't think we've received word on that. The projected lineup that I'm looking at right now has Powell, Larson, Wiggins, Bam, and then I always butcher his name. The KJ, I'll just say at point guard, which I don't know if that's right. I would assume it'd be Smith, but who knows? I mean, I don't know who are you seeing for starting. Are you seeing anything different?
No, I kind of lean that to Casperus, whatever. I don't know his last name either. I just call him by his first name.
Yeah, there's too many like random names in the NBA, and I hate butchering them.
Yep.
And then let's jump into some other questions here. Yeah, so Kyle Anderson, this is definitely an interesting question because we have seen him get kind of a lot of minutes randomly, and he's someone that if we knew for sure Nurk was out, I'd be kind of I don't want to say happy. I'd okay, I have a soft spot for Kyle Anderson. I would be happy to get to him, but would he be someone you're looking at if Yusuf Nurk was out?
Yeah, yeah. I think if Nurk's out, I wouldn't mind him at, especially at his price, and he's not going to really get any ownership.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting comment here, just saying don't play Powell with back tightness. I feel like they would have to lift down the injury report, wouldn't they?
Yeah, is that his picture? Is Norm Powell, ain't it?
Is it?
No, I
I
don't know.
can't. No, that's not
No,
Norm Powell. That was
I thought
Johnny
it
Legend.
was.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's Johnny Legend.
looks like Norm Powell.
That's what he's gonna play like tonight in the
I was thinking,
Legend.
man, this guy's got inside information.
Yeah, I mean Powell has been playing with lower back tightness lately, and his production has fallen off a little bit. So I mean, I don't mind that. I guess it wouldn't be a terrible idea to get to more Wiggins and Jaquez then, if you're not going to Powell. Not a bad stance to take. What's Powell's ownership? I just feel like he would be more so on the injury report if they were because they would have to list it. Maybe not terrible pivot though, chalk wise. This is the question. Does the NBA tell the truth? Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the Miami Heat, I guess the Terry Rozier stuff happened when he was in Orlando, right? Or he was Orlando, right? Or no, Charlotte, right?
Yeah, Charlotte.
My bad. Yeah. But it did seem like Miami might have hit it a little bit too. All right, so let's just refresh. Let's give our final thoughts here on the slate, just to see if anything's updated at all. So FanDuel values, we'll recap that. Dean Wade, elite value of the season, guys. Just go in on it. I'm kind of kidding there, but it is weird. Like spots like this year have worked out where like it's not a sexy value, but the model really likes them. The ownership's not really there relative to the slate, and it's been really beneficial. But after that, for FanDuel, Tyson's popping up, Fontecchio's popping up, Jalen Smith is a little bit more appealing. So these are a little bit different than our DraftKings plays. How would you be prioritizing some of those values right now?
Yeah, like you said, Dean Wade. I kind of dogged on him last time. Then he ended up in the winning lineup. Made me feel dumb, and he was at the top of the model like he is today. So I'm not doing that today. And then Wendell Carter's just kind of a whatever to me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, he's 5,300, but I don't know. I think I could beat him, like just not playing him.
Mhm.
Fontecchio, I think, is good. Pretty good price. You know, his minutes are going to be there. So I think he's a pretty solid value. I think Tyson at 6K is probably the most appealing, though, out of the top of the list to me. Just really good price and a pretty close game. So I do like Tyson.
Yeah, I would agree there. I don't really see it too differently. The only thing I would maybe try to get to is just again more that Miami Utah game, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad way to pivot to some of the like Tyson and even Jalen Smith, who again I don't necessarily love with Patrick Williams being out back, but maybe not a bad way to get unique.
Yep.
All right, so that will do it for this live stream. Man, any final thoughts here for you?
No, just watch for the NERC news.
Yes, and plan accordingly as well.
Yep.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Appreciate you being here. We'll catch you on tomorrow's live stream. Good luck.